Today we'll be looking again at Salvia, because Salvia is a little bit difficult to grow. So you want it to look like this, but what you get is plants losing leaves like this, or leaves starting to get gray like this, and then like you have root rot and your plants just die in the end. So where's the catch? How do you get it to look like this? I mean, just look at this. These leaves, they are like a salad. They are really huge. Really huge. It's really doing nice. So, first of all, we have to know that this is a tropical alpine plant. What does this mean? This means it comes from the mountains, but in the tropics. So, that means that it's cool up there, and the temperature is stable. So Salvia, it doesn't like temperatures above 30 degrees. That will destroy it for sure. 25, something like this, should be like your highest temperature. And also it doesn't take very well to low temperatures. So maybe down to something like 15 or 10 or something should be your minimum. Temperature should actually have like a big change between daytime and nighttime temperature. All tropical alpine plants like that. So these guys here that you see them in my greenhouse, during the winter, yes, the greenhouse is heated, there's a thermostat, but the lowest temperature they get is usually around 10. 5 would be absolute minimum, which is like for a few hours or something if it's super cold outside, but otherwise around 10-ish is their daily minimum. Their daily maximum right now is somewhere to 25 or something, because of course if it gets too hot we just open the doors, the windows, so some air comes out. Summer will be a little bit more different. In summer we will need to move them somewhere where it's cooler, so either on the ground or to another part. The other thing that Salvia really needs is high moisture in the air, not necessarily in the soil. So let's talk about this for a sec. If you imagine if the lowlands are tropical jungle and you go higher up the mountains to where these guys grow. So if you have a high precipitation in the lowlands, it's only going to be higher precipitation in the mountains. I'm not gonna go into details, just trust me on this one. Anyways, so you would have fogs, you would have rainfall, you would have just a lot of moisture in the air, and you need to replicate this. And you have two options. Either you can keep them like in a terrarium or something. We'll talk about why these guys are in a terrarium. Or you can even make like just a room tent, like maybe out of some foil or something, or even, I don't know, shower curtain, or just plexi walls from a shower. Improvise. Anyways, make it a closed-in space that keeps moisture in, because the moisture that you have in the air in your room, it's not enough. You have maybe like 30-40% moisture. If it's more, you are already getting mold or something on your walls. But these things, they need higher moisture content. So we're looking above 70, 80, 90, up to 100. The more there is, the better. So the other option that you have is to spray them like this. Just spray them as much as you can. One time per day minimum, or even better, every time you pass them. Like just like this. Let them just have as much water as possible on the leaves. This is the reason why this plant gets brown edges of the leaves. The brown edges, the necrosis, they are a result of the air that is too dry. Like even on these plants, if I move a little bit, I messed up just once, literally just once, and you see here the older leaves, immediately they are black. The young ones, they are great, because now I know. We learn from our mistakes. Okay, this is air moisture. Now soil moisture. They like humid soil, this is for sure. But they don't like that it drips. Let it dry out a little bit before waterings. And also take into consideration this: if the plant is actively growing, the soil can be more moist. If the plant is just not growing or not growing properly or whatever, just keep the moisture level down. If the soil is too wet, you will get root rot, and it's really hard for this plant to recover from root rot. If you get root rot, actually the best option is just to cut a section that's healthy, so just stem. If you remember the previous video, you cut below the node and just pop it in the water. What will happen as an intermezzo, what will happen is you will just get roots growing like this. That's how you can save your plant. Yeah, what else? Fertilization. It's very beneficial to fertilize these plants. I prefer to use liquid fertilizer, something that has a pretty good nitrogen content, because of course you're after the leaves, and more nitrogen promotes the growth of leaves. If you have like any yellowing, I mean, these are great, but if you can imagine, if the young leaves inside, they would be a bit yellow, it would already show that it's like missing some nutrients, or anyways, any yellow on top, it means food, it needs food. Liquid fertilizer, just whichever one you buy, look what concentration you should make, how much of it you should put in water, and just when you water the plant, maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks, or if you use it in a very diluted concentration, every time that you water, it can just be inside. It will promote nice healthy growing. Yeah, so this is it. Soil. What kind of soil to use? Well, I can show you what I've been using. So this actually, the interesting thing is, this is what I use for my carnivorous plants. You see the perlite, and then you can see the pieces of peat inside, and I just added to this, maybe like 50-50, I just added the compost that I am making like for my plants. The one, if you remember, that I'm sowing the seeds in. So just these two things together, because it needs to be airy, it needs to keep the water pretty good, needs to be a bit on the acidic side, has to have some nutrients in, so just something like this. What you can do is, of course, perlite, you'll get this, but you can just use any like potting soil you can buy in your local store. Add to it maybe a little bit of peat, just to get a bit of an acid reaction, or some garden loam or something, you know. The point is, it shouldn't compact, it shouldn't be soggy, and as I said, just a little bit of an acid reaction. So this is for the soil. And what about this aquarium here? So this is where I keep the cuttings that I'm propagating. The water version turned out to be the best. Then these guys go into these grow pots, and when they are big enough, I transplant them out, like these guys. I transplanted them yesterday. The terrarium, actually it would be nice to have just a lid on, just to keep more moisture inside, but then again it would probably overheat too much for them, so I just keep it open. So basically the aquarium is just to keep more moisture in. Why? Again, they like to be wet. And if you do your cuttings, if you want to propagate your plants, be sure, really be sure to keep the leaves wet. so the air around them more moist. That's the most important thing. They don't need, you will see standing water here, they don't need this like all the time. This is just because they were planted yesterday. The soil is not soggy, so just it has a chance to just take water in slowly. Whatever remains at the end of today, I'll just remove because it would be too much. Once they start growing, they would drink all of this like in a few hours. Ah yeah, what about the light? Actually they prefer semi-shade, so you can't keep them like in full sun, but you can keep them on like either a shaded window or a window that doesn't get direct sunlight, or anywhere, basically anywhere where the sun won't burn them. So if you are growing just under grow lights, that will work pretty well as well. Just in that case, keep them together with, if you have like peperomias or I don't know, begonias or something like this, plants of the undergrowth, just treat them as that. They are fine in green shade, that means shade under a canopy. They are of course fine in shade from just like objects or something. So you can see that it's possible, they can grow really well. And what else can I say? I hope this helped. Good luck with growing your salvias. Thank you for watching this. If you like the video, if you find it helpful, of course please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.